G'day guys, Alfie here. This video tutorial is going to have a few quick tips, suggestions and advice on how to resolve some of the issues that have come about from students and teachers using Minecraft Education Edition in their classrooms. So these are just workarounds or suggestions. All of these issues, I guess, have been raised with the development team and hopefully are currently under discussion or development or whatever. But in the interim, what you can do is do some of these sorts of activities here, or these sorts of builds here, to support you in preventing these issues happening in the interim. So the first biggest issue that I've heard from lots of community people is that students are able to join other network worlds without permission. And sometimes students are doing that and destroying other people's work. Now this, in my opinion, is the same as going up to someone's workbook and drawing all over it, or tearing out a page, or something like that. And it's not something that students would normally do in the physical world. So that discussion, I think, should happen with students about the behaviour and implications of that behaviour and what it actually means. But one suggestion, if it continues to happen, or if students are really worried about it, is to build this basic structure here. And it doesn't have to be this big, but basically a group of deny blocks surrounded by border blocks, and anybody who joins the world, if you come here and you type let world spawn, right, anytime someone joins this world, as long as they've never joined it before, they will join here. And because they shouldn't have world builder rights, they can't build, they can't leave, and therefore they can't access everything and destroy it. So basically, some build deny blocks, some border blocks, and then set world spawn in the center there. Something else that I've come up with as a map maker is, if I'm making maps for students to work in and I've put NPCs in, what can happen, right, is if the students have world builder and they left click, away goes the NPC, right? So what I've got here, and this is the first, this isn't perfected, and there are ways I could probably improve this, but basically, if I'm standing on these stone bricks, or any stone bricks, what happens is I get world builder removed from me. So now when I come over here, and I hope I can't accidentally destroy this NPC. And following up on that, what I've got this NPC to do, right, is to give me all the equipment I need for my lesson. So in some of my worlds, I've got kids starting on a certain block that I have set up a block like this on. Here's the command: execute at anyone detecting one block below for stone brick. Take away the ability of world builder, basically. And then this NPC gives me that equipment. Now you'll notice that it won't give me it over and over and over again. And if we put world builder back on, what I've done in here is set up, oh, don't hit that, set up this NPC to replace the item in my hotbar with these items, but only when I'm in a radius of 10. So what can happen here, and the reason we've got the radius of 10, is if I write in this book, right, and then I go out and I go back in, it's there. But because this NPC is set to do it for everyone within that radius of 10, if I talk to this NPC again, need world builder off for this, if I talk to this NPC again, you'll see that it actually replaced my book. So we want the radius on that, so that if I'm working over there and I'm taking notes in my writable book, again, this only affects the writable book, the portfolio won't change and the camera won't change, but if the writable book has been edited, it will get overwritten by this NPC here. So again, we're using the replace item, add an entity, all players within a radius of 10, the hotbar with these 3 items. You don't need all 3 if you only want to do the camera and portfolio, only do the camera and portfolio, but it's a neat way when coupled with this removing the world builder ability of getting students access to the things they want. Now, that's more for creating maps that students are running on their own. There has been talk of students joining worlds with permissions they shouldn't have, and this may resolve that issue, but we can't find and track that bug and resolve that issue completely yet. So if you're having trouble with students having world builder and destroying NPCs, I recommend this option here. If you want students to have access to the items early in the map, then you can use the NPC to do that kind of setup there. Next, these are more behavioral issues, and not all classes are going to require these, but some of these things can be quite destructive. So, for example, Ender Dragons. If I destroy that, Ender Dragons, I've seen teachers on Twitter say, "Oh, look, there's an Ender Dragon in our world," and I'm like, "Do you have any idea what that could do to the student builds?" All right. So this is only an issue if students have the right to run the summon command, which may happen. So this is what Ender Dragons do, or can do. Right? They destroy all blocks, basically. So what this will enable you to do, this command block, that Ender Dragon is going to keep going. I'll have to go find it in a minute. Is it will kill the Ender Dragon. All right. So there are limitations there. So basically, if a student does have the rights to summon an Ender Dragon, this will stop it happening. It will initially summon, and depending on where they are, it may destroy a few blocks. So if I actually go down in here, so if I summon an Ender Dragon here, you can see it does destroy some blocks, but it doesn't destroy anywhere near as many as it did when I summoned it over here. So that's a way that students could potentially destroy quite a bit of someone's world, even if it's their own, whether that's deliberately or accidentally. So yeah, so that will prevent Ender Dragons from destroying far too many blocks. While we're on destructive items, withers. So if your map is not on peaceful, if your map is on something else, and I destroy that, what you can do, and there's again, if students have this right, there's not a lot you can do. So if I right, you can see that he is quite destructive, and he explodes things upon spawning, and he also explodes things upon death. So what that does, right, is it prevents withers from staying on the ground. So this first block teleports the wither really, really high in the sky, so 200 blocks above this command block here. And then this block, kills the wither. So you go, he's just dropped all this experience on me. This block actually kills the wither. So even if I spawn the wither here now, and there's two ways to do this. You can summon wither like that. You can see he goes right up. And there's no way to stop this whole process. If I go up 200, you should see him dying. I'm 200 up. Yeah, there he is. So here's all his XP and stuff dropping there. So basically that means if he's up really, really high, what it means is he's not going to explode anything when he spawns, and he's not going to explode he's not going to explode anything when he dies. So of course that only works, or that's only a concern if you're not on peaceful, because there's no way to actually summon a wither if you're on peaceful. There is still a way to summon, so the dragon is not controlled by peaceful, so that's a concern. Something else, ender crystals are not currently controlled as destructive items. So if I grab, and this is again only if you're having these issues, you don't need to do these if students aren't doing this kind of stuff. And I probably should kill that one as well. Out here, I'll show you how destructive this is. Let's get some stone, just to give you an idea of how destructive these can be, and why you might want to currently, if you're working in worlds and students aren't trusted. Right, I forgot I shouldn't have built in stone bricks. Now I've lost world builder. So they are quite destructive, and they're not controlled by explosive items at the moment. So even if I have, there you go, I don't allow destructive items as it is, so I can't do TNT. So if I put down TNT and try and light it, it actually won't allow that to happen. So if I put you here, see, I can't even place TNT. So yeah, these end crystals aren't controlled by that. So there's two ways you can, well, there's probably two steps, and again, depending on what students are actually doing. The first one is to not actually allow people to have end crystals in their inventory. Right, so there's no way I can get end crystals out and put them here. As soon as I do that, it takes them off me. So that's this command block here. So clearing from all players end crystals. The second thing you can do, right, is because I can summon an end crystal, right, and that same issue still occurs. So the second thing, if students have or are doing that, is to do this, which teleports the entity ender crystal up really high, similar to what we do with the wither, and then kills it. Because if you don't, again, when you kill it, it explodes. So you can see it summoned it, but straight away it gets teleported 200 blocks up into the sky and then killed off. So that leads, so this particular method here of giving no access to ender pearls actually leads into, if students are using invisibility potions, you can remove all invisibility potions from being able to be grabbed by students. Now this is an array of these blocks, but basically it's clear everyone from potion 7, clear everyone from potion 8, clear everyone from splash potion 7, splash potion 8, and lingering potion 7 and lingering potion 8. They remove the opportunity for students to grab, ooh, I haven't thought about arrows in invisibility. I might need to add 2 more. So I can't grab, you can see as soon as I try and grab them, it actually doesn't let me. I wonder. Problem solving live on camera. Am I now invisible? There is a way to shoot yourself. I thought you could do it by looking straight up and doing a little pop. See, that hit me, but I'm not invisible, or I picked it up. Interesting. But if you wanted to prevent that, all you need to do is figure out what this is called, arrow invisibility. So slash clear at a arrow 7. Nope. Arrow 8. There you go. So there's that one. So that's that. Let's try this one just to make sure. So that's arrow 8, not arrow 7. Arrow 9 is my guess, yeah. So we would need to set 2 of these. One to be arrow 9 and one to be arrow 8. And now what I've found out, if you're going to do something like this, is have these on repeat. So they normally come as impulse. Have these on repeat, unconditional, but needs redstone, because if you need to edit these, if you need to edit them, it's easier if you have them controlled by redstone. And then you just put these here, so that they've now got redstone, they've got a signal. So now, in theory, if I go here, I won't be able to grab the arrows either. So I can't grab arrows or anything. So anything tagged with invisibility, I'm not going to be able to use. So again, if students are having issues with that, or if you're having issues with students doing that, that's how you do that. So basically a clear at A of arrow or potion or whatever. The other thing is, let's get world builder. Let's grab some ender pearls. This is really interesting, and I'm not sure. I know of some students that know this, and I'm not sure whether this is an issue for teachers or not. But if I don't have world builder, right, I shouldn't be able to get out of here. However, a well-placed Duh, you've got the command running. So it won't let me do it. So let's go back over there now. So in theory, without world builder, I can't get out of here, even if I fly up or whatever, right? If I throw an ender pearl though, you can see that goes straight through. And when it lands, I'm free. Which, again, may be an issue, depending on your students and what they're actually doing. So what this one does is, this particular command prevents thrown ender pearls. All right, so kill the entity of type ender pearl, because in my inventory it's an item. As soon as it's thrown, it becomes an entity. So if we can kill it off, it means I can't actually get out. So I won't be able to get back in over here at all, and not even by throwing an ender pearl can I get in there, because the ender pearl gets killed off. So that's sort of some suggestions on tips, suggestions, workarounds, I guess, on classroom management or resolving current issues that I've heard about in the community. I will put all of these commands in some form of document and have a link to that in the video description. But if you're having any other major classroom issues, and I need to, so I put this sign here so that I wouldn't forget. The way Minecraft works with running commands like this is within a 4-chunk radius. So if this wasn't what's called a ticking area and I was 4 chunks away, then it wouldn't work. So you need to make sure you have a ticking area. So to do that, you just do ticking area, add, and I do circle from where I am with a radius of 2 is more than enough. So it's 2 chunks basically all the way around me, which I think is a 2x2 or possibly a 2 out and a 2 back. So it could be up to a 4 or 5 radius 2, yeah, so it'll go out 2. So it's probably a 4 or 5 chunk radius, which is more than enough. So this is a ticking area, so that even when I'm out over there, or 4 blocks away or whatever, it'll still do what I want it to do. But yeah, I'll put all of this in a document of some sort and have a link to that in the video description. If you're having any other issues in the classroom or classrooms and you want some ideas, tips, suggestions on managing it using this kind of stuff, please let me know in the comments or reach out on Twitter at EduElfie, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. See ya.